We're up. Alrighty. Hey everybody. It's Kate Richburg live from beadshop.com and it's Friday. Woohoo! We made it. We made it through the week and the weekend is hovering just over the horizon. So I hope everyone had a great week and I'm excited to share some Free Tip Friday goodness with you today. We'll get to that in just a moment. But as always, you can find all of our Free Tip Fridays now in two places. You can find them on our YouTube channel, beadshop.com, or you can also go to our website, beadshop.com, and go to our Facebook Live page, and you'll see right in the top row, you'll see some of our Facebook Lives that we've had recently, and then at the end of the row, you'll see Free Tip Friday, and you just click on that photo, and it'll take you to the page where all of the Free Tip Fridays are archived. You can also search our blog, The Bead Table, and you can search Free Tip Friday, put it in the search box, and a lot of the blog posts and everything that I've done about Free Tip Friday will be on there, including directions for a lot of the projects and stuff like that. So Free Tip Friday is a little more off the cuff than our regular Facebook Live broadcasts that are on Wednesday, but I hope you enjoy them because I enjoy them as well. I like flying by the seat of my pants sometimes. So who have we got? Gracie.
So many people.
So
We've
many.
got both Janices.
Both Janices.
Susan,
Hi, Jackie.
Mel,
Oh,
Melanie,
everyone's
Lynn.
there.
I saw Gita earlier.
All right.
Melissa, Kathy, Lynn, Kim.
Hey, everybody.
Everyone.
It's
Faye.
great to see you all. And Gracie, I'm going to be on the road next week.
I know.
I'm excited.
Very exciting.
Yes, so just a reminder, Janice and I are going to be going live on Tuesday from the set of Beads, Baubles, and Jewels. I'm traveling from the West Coast, Janice is traveling from the East Coast, and we're meeting in Cleveland, actually just outside of Cleveland. But we're going to do a little bit of Facebook Living after, or kind of throughout the day. We'll let you know a little bit more about that as we get a little closer. And Grace, you haven't even seen these. This is one of the projects that I'm doing on air for Beads, Baubles, and Jewels. We're doing, the theme is kind of fun. The theme is like art.
Let me turn sideways.
Can you see it? So I'm giving you guys a little sneak peek. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be doing this, but I am. One of the pieces I'm doing is an ear wire that's a Frida Kahlo inspired ear wire, which is this one. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of soldering. And I'm also using some of our really cool vintage finds and my new favorite little tribal thing here. So it's going to be fun. So that's one of the segments we're filming. And you'll see these, they'll air in 2018, but we'll give you plenty of time to watch that. I'm also doing two other fun things that I'll share with you on Tuesday, but I'm loving these, so I thought I'd just put them in my ears because I had them in my bag because I'm packing everything to go for next week. So.
Got a lot of love for the earrings.
A lot of love. Oh, good. I'm glad you like them.
Serenity Bead Shop and Studio says, hello, Kate, looking fabo today.
Hey, Kathy, how are you? It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Alrighty. Well, shall we get started? You guys, I know you want to see this, and I know I want to show you what we've got going on. So let's move the camera? Yep, let's move it around. We're going to move it around. Yes. Great. Alrighty, we're good. Let's see. Yeah. I'm also trying to look on my thing here. This is good. I'm going to be working I need kind of a space about maybe like so. This should work. What do you guys think? And then you can get in a little tighter, Gracie, if you need to. Perfect. Alrighty.
Oh, your mom's here.
Oh, hi, Mama. And Janice is here. Both Janices. Yes. Everyone's here. Awesome. So let me show you guys a few of the tools and materials we're going to use, but let me show you first the project. Now, some of you guys may remember from this past Wednesday on Facebook Live, we had a memory wire extravaganza, right? And we did all kinds of fun patterning with memory wire, all kinds of cool stuff. And there was some banter about well, what else could we put on memory wire? Could you macrame with leather? Could you macrame with Chinese knotting cord? And so I thought I would share today my tips for working with macrame over the memory wire. And let me tell you guys, I'm in love with it. I love it. Okay? So let me tell you a little bit about what it is that I'm using here for this. And then we'll jump into the actual technique. So you're going to need some tools. You're going to need, as you know, right, when you're cutting memory wire, you guys, what do you use? The memory wire cutter, right? We don't want to use our good cutters, but we would come in and we'll measure off however many little loops we want of the memory wire, and we give it a cut just like that. This is our Xuron memory wire cutter, and I'll tell you, it will save you the investment of having to buy a fresh pair of wire cutters like this if you use these for your memory wire. So these are a yes, these are a no. Okay? So, you will also need a round nose plier for looping the ends of your memory wire. And you're going to need either a chain nose or a bent chain nose to open and close that loop. You're going to need some zap glue, and I'll show you how I use the zap in a little bit. You're going to need a whole mess of beads. Here's my whole mess of beads. And these, if you guys can tell, are the leftovers from Wednesday's project. And I even have some leftovers from a Free Tip Friday way back in the day that had some little drops and stuff. We still had these guys kind of hanging around. This was from the Harvest Time Mix Free Tip Friday, so I thought they blended nicely in, so I thought I'd use those. And let me slide that whole mess of beads back. And you're going to use these little, they're on the website, we call them clampers, or little clamps. And these really come in handy. And we sell them, I think we sell them by the pair, and they're pretty inexpensive. So you might want to pick yourself up a few of these. We use them now for laddering, but I'm also using them in this project here. And you're going to need a baggie and a toothpick from my handy dandy toothpick holder that my mama sent me, so I'd always have it with me when I'm working on Free Tip Friday. And of course, last but not least, we're gonna need some cords. I grabbed this 0.8 millimeter in sage of Chinese knotting cord, or CKC as we like to call it. You could use any weight of CKC, but I thought I'd start with the 0.8 millimeter and see how it looked. And then I've got some leather. I've got the 0.5 millimeter in distressed brown. And this 0.5, we don't carry it in a lot of colors, but you guys, I dig it. And you know, you've seen me wear this guy before on my wrist. This is my ladder bracelet with shadows. I've done that same 5 millimeter leather. I did this silk wrap with it. So I think that the 0.5 millimeter leather is pretty awesome. I use it a lot. I really like it. So that's what this is. Then we've got some 1 millimeter just in natural that I grabbed. And then I grabbed some distressed gray in the 1.5 millimeter. Now this is all stuff that is kind of in our, it's a lot of leather bags to go out, or our leather scrap drawer. So any leather scrap that you have will work, but of course any of, you know, you choose what works for you. We sell this leather in, currently in the 4 and a 4 yard length, so that'll be plenty for you to work with. So, any questions so far?
No, but Lorraine just said thank you for her order with a generous bag of Halloween beads.
Yes!
She loves them and can't wait to do something with them.
I'm so glad, and Lorraine.
Kita mentioned that her money's going to fly across the Atlantic because she saw that Harvest Time is back in stock.
Yes, Harvest Time is back in stock. We've just put it in. And you guys, we're actually working for the holidays. We know that you guys are going to love, are going to want to work with all of our monthly mixes, so we're working on getting all of those back in. Plus, our monthly mix for November is done. And wait till you guys see it. It is, what did we call it? I can't remember. It's sitting.
I don't remember.
It's sitting over there. You know what? I'm just going to see what it's called. I'm not going to show you. I should just show you. It's called, oh, should I just show him?
How close are we to
I don't know. It's not going up yet. It's called, here, I'm going to cover it just a little. It's called Pecan Spice, or Pecan, I don't know. And it's going to be awesome. But that'll be out at the beginning of November. So I'm hiding it back over here. I'm just, thanks. Kim Crawford said, nice teaser.
Janice says she's so excited that the sound is better and she can hear me talking.
Oh, see? Well, Google is our friend, JP. You know, we just have to figure out how to use this darn camera. So let me show you what I've got here on the memory wire. I am using, you could use any diameter of memory wire, right? I did most of these, I think, on the 2 1/4 size, but you could also use the 2 or the 2 1/2, whatever works. But let me show you what I've done here. So this is the, let me see if I have a pointer here. Where are my tweezers? I've got no, yeah, here they are. Here are my tweezers. There we go. This is the 0.8 millimeter Chinese knotting cord in the macrame knot. And you can see it's pretty supple, has a nice look to it. The stitches of the macrame are pretty defined. Then I went to, this is the 0.5 millimeter leather. And it's about the same size-wise, but you can see the braid or the stitching looks really different on it. I love the 0.5 millimeter. I love the CKC too, but I really love it in the leather.
I have to say I love it in the leather too.
Yeah, I really do. And then we go to, this is the 1 millimeter. Now you can see the 1 millimeter in the natural. This natural, especially on a bracelet, will probably darken quite a bit. Just like Janice's trail ride necklace. And you can see the macrame stitches even more defined. Okay.
I really like it.
I like it too. I like it a lot. And wait for this one, Gracie.
Oh.
Look at this one. This is the 1.5 millimeter. I think it's 1.5.
As a men's bracelet, that would be so
That would be
nice.
amazing, right? So, and I haven't even grabbed any 2. You could jump into the 2 millimeter too, which would look great. But look at how really defined the macrame stitches are in this one. So I think they look pretty good. I think they're great.
Yeah. Design challenge right now.
Yeah, right now. What?
Can I go pick something out?
Yeah.
Surprise you.
All right. Grace is going to be crazy, you guys, and she's going to pick something out. So I'm going to keep talking. I'm a little freaked out. So you guys, and Janice, would you type this out? It looks like a couple of people are saying that they have sound issues. Would you just type this out, that if people don't have sound, just go ahead and X out or exit your, our Facebook page and come on back in, and that should fix the sound, okay? That should be sometimes the fix. Sometimes when I watch Facebook Live myself, I lose the audio. So that's always my fix for it, and it usually works. Just an FYI, if you watch this on the replay, the sound and everything should be seamless. So don't worry. Sometimes if you lose the picture or if you lose the sound, you can just X on out, come on back in, and we'll still be here. So yeah, like Gracie was saying, this heavier leather would really make a great men's bracelet for sure. And if you guys remember, I have just this little bag of randomness here, but you remember from Wednesday how we did the little kind of cuff bracelets with the memory wire? I'm thinking something like that as a cuff, like this, macrameed all the way around, right? Macrame, 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 and they're just finished off with the little beads like this on the other side. That also, I think, would be great. And just plain beads or silver beads or just macrame would also make a great men's bracelet. Okay. Yeah. What is Grace?
I was thinking
What has Gracie got for me?
Men's jewelry. I was thinking of using the metal sliders.
Oh yeah, hand me that.
Macramé.
Hand me those sliders.
Maybe, I don't know.
Gracie, would you do one more thing for me?
Yeah,
would you get me 2mm leather out of just the leather box? Let's just grab it, and let's just see. And we'll well, yeah, who knows? We love, this is what I love about Free Tip Friday, you guys, is that we can make it up as we go along, which I love. I'm going to show you, though, while Gracie's getting that, how I set all of these up to use and why I use those clamps, okay? So I start by putting a little loop on the very end of my memory wire, and I use my round nose plier for that, and I just come in and make a nice loop. There it is. Bam. Now, I can start by throwing on, I don't know, a bead or two or whatever. Let me throw on a bead. Let me throw on this bead. And this is our new little temple metal bead. Can you guys see how amazing? Let me make sure I'm in frame. There we go. How amazing that little temple bead is. Isn't that cool? I love it. And then I'm going to put on, I don't know, just a little 4mm. There we go. Okay? And I'm going to slide these on. Slide them all the way around, all the way. Okay? Like that. Then, what I do to help me hold my memory wire is there we go. Oh, perfect. Oh, that's all right. Then, to make this sit so I can work with it, look at how I use those clampers, you guys. Check it. And I can just kind of grip all of these here, and see how now I can kind of come in and work with this like this, and these little clampers hold everything straight up and down on the table. Come on, how smart is that right there?
Really smart.
That's pretty smart. That's pretty smart, if I do say. So let me start by just macrameing with this 2mm. Why not? This distressed light brown. We haven't used it yet, or 2mm, so let's go for it.
Do it.
So you're thinking, well, Kate, how long are you going to cut this? And I don't know. The clamper trick up. Well, Lynn, I made that clamper trick up when I was working on this morning. So it's not super brand new, but it's not more than a couple hours old, I'll tell you. But like I always say, necessity is the mother of invention. Let me get my little tape measure, and I'm going to say I'm going to cut 12, 15, 17, maybe 17 or 18 inches. Okay? Yes. So I have enough to work with, but not so much that I have a ton of leather. And I think I also want to make these sections kind of short. If I wanted to do this whole thing, I would cut much more leather than this.
Your mom said she asked your dad if he'd wear a bracelet, and he said, I don't know. And it kind of surprised her.
Oh, well, you never know, my pops. He might. Well, you know, as we get more advanced in our years, Ma, you know, we may want to adorn ourselves a little differently. But I don't think you can make my dad wear a wrap bracelet, so I don't think I'd make one for him. You never know, though. So, see how I started, you guys? I just did that little overhand knot, and I knotted this on. Just like this, like the first knot you use to tie your shoe. Now, I'm going to kind of isolate my piece of memory wire. And if you guys don't remember about macrame, pardon me. If you don't remember about how to macrame, then we have a great skill builders. We've got so much on macrame, but let me just show you real quick. I've tied this knot. I've come over to the side, and my loop is here. It's like a little Q, makes a little Q. I come in with the opposite side, and I just go over that tail that's coming out and under and out through the queue. Okay? And tighten. Now on this side, you can see I've got that little, like a little bridge or a little, I don't know, scallop. That's the side I'm going to start my knot on this time. So now this time I'm making a P. See, that's a P, letter P. Now with my other end, I go over, under, and up through the hole of the P. Whoops, I so lied. I'm going up, and I go, yeah, over and under and up. There we go. I just didn't catch it correctly.
And this is 2.0.
This is 2.0. So now I'll do the other side one more time. I'll make that Q loop over the Q, or over the tail of the Q, under the wire, and up through the loop out there. Okay? And now here's the P side. There's my letter P. Over the tail, under the wire, out through the loop. This is just the same as we macrame with Chinese knotting cord in our Bollywood, how we macrame with, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Ceylon with our wrap bracelets. It's exactly the same, just a different material.
You know, I was just thinking to myself, Kate.
Yep.
Will this twist around? And as I'm trying it on this sample you've done, it doesn't.
So
you know?
That's a really good question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie one more, and then I'm going to show you, Gracie, how I might knot this off, and then we're going to see how these sliders look, and I'm going to show you how I keep it from twisting around.
Come on.
Yeah, come on now. Come on. So you guys, I have 6 macrame stitches here, and I like showing you in this 2mm. I mean, the 2mm is pretty big, but it's also really easy for you to see what I'm doing. But we'll go back and we'll examine the other ones a little bit later too. But I'm going to turn this over, and let's say I was going to cut this off. If I wanted to cut this off, put a slider or whatever, and then start again, I will get my handy dandy. Make sure that I'm in, I don't know if I'm in frame here. There we go. Am I good? I'm going to squeeze out a little Zap glue onto my baggie. I'm going to get my toothy pick, and I'm going to come in from the back. This is a trick that I learned from Janice. You know, she always works like on the back of her pieces when she glues or, you know, things like that, so it doesn't show up on the front. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to that last knot. I'm going to use the tip of my toothpick to really get that glue in there. And this Zap, you guys, really is the thing to use with this. It's a little thick, so it's not running everywhere. If I were going to use super glue, it would kind of run and stiffen up, pardon me, stiffen up all of this leather. But the Zap really stays where you put it. Okay, so there we go. I can also, Grace, I'm kind of pushing a little bit of Zap down in between that knot so it catches the wire, which is why we're not having an issue of this moving around. Also, the knots that I'm tying are fairly tight. So now I'd let this Zap sit. Probably I would just add another one and keep going and then come back in and cut these guys off later, which I'll do for the moment. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to, oh, and look at that. I started macrameing and this bead got loose. So we're just going to let this bead
If
go
you were
away.
to attach this, couldn't you just feed those leather tails?
I could,
through?
yeah. Let's take a look. So I've got this as our
Little X.
Let's slide this guy on. See what this sliding the slider. There we go. If I can untangle. Come on now. There we go. So here's this. So let me see how it would work with the slider. especially if these were longer tails, because I could just keep macrameing, which is kind of ingenious there, Gracie. Let's see. What I might do, there's a little bit of space there with the 2 millimeter, but let's look at it with the 1.5.
Totally.
What I would do if I were using this, maybe I'd use like a little bead, or I'd put a little something there to take up that room. Let's do this slider. Well, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna leave this X1. I'm gonna leave this on here for a second. Stay there. Oh, now I've got a memory wire tangle. There we go. And let me pull this one into view. Let me get rid of my zap and put my lid on so I don't have a glutastrophe. Right? There we go. Now, let's put on, this is our home run? Is that what this one? Ruffles.
I didn't grab a home run.
Yeah. This is similar to home run, which is just the plain one without the lines.
Right.
I love this slider.
Well, I just was thinking, because the men, when I saw the thicker leather, I thought specifically men, because a few people have mentioned they like the thinner leather, which I also like if it were for me. But because we always talk about men's jewelry, it looks so nice.
Let's shove these two 1.5 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter down there. Put this slider on. Slide it up. Yeah, again, see with the 1.5, if I pulled it pretty tight, I think it's pretty seamless.
That's really cool.
Right? It doesn't have too much of a space there. Now I could just come in. That's why I was really having trouble like taming the rest of my memory wire. So these clampers help me to tame that. So now see, now they're, so now I would just come in.
Janice said, is shove a technical term? And
it is a technical term, JP.
And Gita has posted the sliders for ruffle sliders.
Oh, great. Great. Yeah. So see, there we go. This might need a little bit of playing around with, but I think...
So, Janice says you could glue the leather inside the ruffles. Like
I could glue it so it didn't move around.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely could. Let me do a couple more, one more stitch here. And then we'll move on to the finer. There we go. And you want to get the tension right with this. So I'm really trying to pull these fairly tight, not so much that I'm fatiguing the leather, but enough so that I'm closing up any gaps or air or anything like that, right? So look at that. Check it, you guys. Come on now.
This is going to be, like,
this is
amazing. Because then you can add beads in this.
Look at how it just, let me just say.
Oh, wow.
Come on. Come on. It's my new favorite stack thing. I love it. It's pretty good, if I do say so myself. Yes, question. Grace.
No, there's no question.
Okay.
But it says,
Grace is
I was gonna just keep recommending stuff, and I had to stop myself.
Right.
But,
let's do this.
Donna is asking how many wraps you'd recommend for a men's bracelet.
Oh gosh, I don't know. You could do the one like it's a cuff, like this, so it's single. That's kind of, I don't know. Am I in the frame? There. So it's that single. Or maybe like one full one, I think probably. But I don't know, ask the guys in your life. See what people think.
You could give them different ones and they can mix and match it if they want.
It would be cool. This one looks nice even with this, so I'm just going to maybe keep that on there.
Janice said she'd cut a lot more leather, so she'd keep going.
Yeah, well, and that's true. I mean, I think that certainly for demo purposes, having shorter pieces of leather, it works easily for me, but at home you can use longer pieces so you have more options.
I love it like this though, because then you can add some beads here and there, and then sprinkle in some more leather. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's a really fun look.
It's a fun look.
It's so easy.
So you can see on this one, that's what I started to do here. Was I started just to be kind of random with the stringing, like we did in our memory wire bracelet on Wednesday. And you can see here I glued these guys and I cut the tails away. So this little piece of macrame is just like a unit, right? So now I'm going to start again with the macrame. I could mix the sage in here. So I could mix leather and CKC. So shall I?
What
let's.
So the one we just used with the ruffles was 1.5. This natural one, what size?
Is 1.
Is 1.
And what we'll do, you guys, is Gracie will take photos of each of these guys, and I'll throw it up on the blog, so you can kind of compare and contrast. I'm looking for, here's a 5.
And you did start with an overhand knot before you macrameed, right?
I did. So let me show you with this mustard colored CKC. This was the 0.8 millimeter, but I'm going to use the 0.5 here so we can get a little bit of a compare and contrast. I don't know, maybe about 24, maybe about 2 feet, 24 inches or so here. And I'll show you how I start this up again. So I'll go ahead and clamper it. Clamper being a verb, to clamper. There we go. And now, I don't know if we get the full effect of this, but to start it, I'll just do that. I loop so I've got half and half, and then I'll just do that little overhand, like you're tying the first knot you use to tie your shoe. Bam. Then I'll just pick a side and start. There's no rhyme or reason.
So somebody said, I'm going to have to order memory wire now, and somebody else said, you're going to have to order the multi-pack.
Yeah, the multi-pack would be a great way to start with this.
Right.
For sure.
You can make components out of the ring ones with these braided leather
you
pieces.
You could and add them up. Yeah. You totally could.
So
the first ones, see, oh, I'm glad you like this, Grace. This first one, see how this is sliding around a little bit? So just tighten, you're in charge. You're the boss of this Chinese knotting cord. So the first few little knots might be a little funny, but that's okay. There we go, come on.
And did you finish the leather ends with just glue? I
did. I'll give you a close-up of these finished ends, like I did when I was gluing that 2 millimeter. I think that's the one I was gluing. I glued it the same way, and then I'll cut the tails off of those, so I'll show you. The glue should be pretty set. Look at this mustard, how this mustard looks with this daisy. Don't you just want to eat it up? I showed Grace, I have a Free Tip Friday coming up. You guys, my mom and I are going to do a Free Tip Friday. The first week of November, I'll actually be away that Friday. I'm going on a retreat where we had the bead retreat, but this time it's a quilt retreat. But my mom and I have a fantastic Free Tip Friday planned for you guys that Friday. So, and it involves this very mustard Chinese knotting cord. That's all I have to say about that. So you can see here are the two. So again, it's a little thinner, a little finer. Looks great. Then let me show you how.
Can I just say something? Janice is also suggesting you can, instead of using an overhand knot, you can just start with a PRQ also. If you want.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
as
right.
an option.
All right. That's good to know, Janice. I don't know why I always tie that kind of anchoring knot. Maybe I like it to just anchor. But yeah, if that's how you like to start it, then do it.
Our friend, she says that it would be nice to do a spiral macrame as well.
You get out of my head. Is that Jihad Brandy?
I think so.
All right. Well, let me show you. You are in my brain for sure. I was going to show you that because Cara came up to me earlier and said, what's the one that just goes one way? So that's how we'll finish it. But look at that. I think that looks really cool.
Really, really nice.
So here's the one that I glued a little bit earlier. And can you see, you can't really see, I don't know if it's pretty close. It's, the glue has kind of dried, it's kind of sunk into the leather. So I'm just going to use my wire cutter and I'm going to carefully cut and cut away. And a little trick that you can do if you have a little brown, what I would look around for is a little brown Sharpie marker, and I dot the end of that open leather with my little brown Sharpie, and you will never ever know the difference. That's what colored Sharpies are for. Hey Cara,
Yes.
I think I have a cup of colored Sharpies that are right there by my desk. Do you mind grabbing them? Again, necessity, the mother of invention. Do you see it? It's, I'm sorry, Cara, on my shelf, right behind you. Is it there? It is there. Yes. So then, after you cut this, and it's nice and tight, you can see it's not, you could always add a little bit more glue. Thank you, Cara. Look at that. Look what I happen to have right here, a brown Sharpie. I know where my Sharpies are at all times. See if I can get this open. There we go. And I'll just get my marker. And I'll just mark that in there. Okay. And then if you have a little goof like I did over here. This is a little dark, but I think it's fine.
You can age your leather too.
Yeah, and this leather is going to darken up,
Yeah.
so we're all set there. Okay. So then I would just continue. Here's my X. You can just continue with a slider or doing whatever it is you want to do. Bam. Let's take a look when we're finished, before we're finished. Let's do this with this skinny.
Okay, and what Chinese knotting cord thread did you use earlier, the size? And we had a funny comment.
Okay.
Kim said, life would not exist without Sharpies, duct tape, and of course beads.
Yes, that's right. You can MacGyver anything with pretty much Sharpies and duct tape. This guy is the Sage 8mm, or 0.8mm, which was this one. And the Mustard, I think it's actually called Mustard, is the 0.5mm. And then we have one that's even smaller. It's the 0.4mm. That would work great as well. It'd just be a little bit thinner.
And somebody was, I think it was Donna. Donna mentioned she has furniture touch-up pens that she uses on leather as well.
Oh, that's a great idea. You know, I have some furniture touch-up pens that I probably need to get out and work on my watermarks on my coffee table with. So that's a great idea, Donna. So let me put, you know what I should do? I should put a bead here so I am differentiating between my two styles. Oh, so let me show you. I got these little guys. I don't know, these were my leftovers from that harvest time chain thing that I did. So let me put a few on here, and I'm going to add a drop because I love the way drops look, and I use drops on everything.
Is Chinese knotting cord more likely to get soiled than leather?
Probably. But, you know, it's the same thing like we do with our Bollywood bracelets.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. It should be, you know, when in doubt, I don't know, Scotch Guard, I guess, right? Scotch Guard can't hurt. So I'm going to leave this end there because I might tie these off or do something with that. And I'll start a new piece. I know I've got some of the skinny right here. And Janice, I'll go with your method of just starting with the P or the Q on this one. So let me clamper it down because I'm having trouble hanging on to it. Clamp, and clamp over here. Let me actually turn it. There we go. So I'm going to start with, let's start with, I don't know, whatever side I'm doing. I guess the P, or no, that's the Q side. So I'll go through and just tie it. Alright, yeah, who knew? Who knew that worked so nicely? Nicely done, Janice. So I'm going to keep doing, if I'm going to go that one direction, I wanted to do the P side, but I'll keep doing the Q. So that Q and this Q might take a few knots for the pattern to emerge. Any other comments, Gracie, while I'm...
Comments on how clever this clamp stand is.
Well, I like the clamper stand. Clamper stand. That's clamper stand.
Hashtag.
Yes, hashtag clamper stand by Kate Richburg. That's right. So can you see if I'm doing this in one direction only? Oh, Grace, you're gonna like this, I think.
See it already.
And with this 0.5 millimeter, you guys, this leather is pretty thin. It's not too delicate, but when you tighten the leather down, you really can see, or feel rather, that the leather stretches a bit. So you don't want to yank on it as much as you might pull on the leather or the CKC. We don't want this to break in the middle of our knotting. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do 2 more and then we'll look at it with the camera. Okay. Oh, Debbie, patented. That's right. TM. 2 more. There we go. All right, let's look at what we've got. I could do this with you guys all day. Look at that twist. Isn't that delicious? Yeah. Look at that. I think it looks good. What do you think, Cara?
I like it.
Yeah. And I like this, we can kind of just, there we go, push it a little bit more tightly. But you can see how it contrasts nicely.
It really does.
And you can see that little drop bead. That looks really nice on there.
It almost looks like another bead.
Yeah, it does. It may be time to add my new favorite bead. I know, the little shadows are like, wait, I thought I was your favorite bead. You are my favorite bead, little shadows.
You just like to break hearts.
I do. I'm a bead heartbreaker. Little shadows, you'll always be #1 in my book. But tribal drop, or what do we call this, Cara? I don't know. Drop. Someone will, I don't even know. It's my favorite bead and I don't even know what it's called. Long point. No.
It's too new for me.
Too new. It's so new. Sorry, Janice. You're going to have to type it in there. Janice is like, what do you mean you don't know what that's called?
This is
Make a point.
This is 0.5.
0.5, yeah. Make a point, Fran?
I believe so.
All right. There it is. Well, whatever it is, whoever you are, drop bead, I like you. There we go. So see, look, I didn't even stop. I just kept going with this, and I'm going to keep going in that one direction.
Melanie says, yes, those poor shadows.
I know, the shadows. No one tell the shadows I'm stepping out with this. But this is a drop or a pendant. The shadows are a bead. It's 2 different. There's room in my heart for both of these, right? There we go. We'll do 1 more, and then I'll show you guys how it looks. Come on now. Let's tighten up. Leather is a little fussier than that CKC. The CKC is a little bit easier to deal with. There we go. Can you see that now? There we go. Look at these little drops. So I could do charms. I could do whatever it is I wanted to do, because the Macramé world is my oyster.
See, these are the perfect Christmas gifts. You just did a man version and you did a woman
Yeah, I
version.
know, look, right? A whole stack. So let's go over kind of the different sizes to wrap this guy up. Okay? So just so you can see. Make a point. Thank you, JP. Make a point. I'm going to make a point to remember its name. We've got in the Chinese knotting cord, we have a bunch of different sizes. Well, not a bunch. We've got three different sizes. And let me just grab a 4 right here so you guys can see it. I'm trying to find a good color. That's 5. A color that contrasts so you can see. In Chinese knotting cord, this is the ginger, and this is the 4. This is the 5. And this is the 8. You could use any of these. And if you check out our Stittionary, the Stittionary is also a great guide for you to figure out comparison of thread sizes and stuff. We could also do this with seal-on. I would try this with regular seal-on all day long. I think it would look great. So that's these guys here. Okay. Then we can go with leather. Let me try and untangle my mess here. I hope I'm not alone because my bead table is looking like a big mess. We've got leather. Oh, Janice just said she'd like to see the earthenwares. The agates are those guys. That's a great idea, JP. This is the 0.5 millimeter leather.
Which one? Do you want to do a small one or a big one?
No, it doesn't matter. Just grab one so we can flash it. I think that'll look good. That's the 0.5.
I'll give it a small one.
Yeah, these are nice. This is that one. I just took them right off the wall. I'll put them back on the wall. But these are some of our new agate.
Oh, she wanted the 9 millimeter one, actually.
Oh, all right. Well, let's. Oh, yes. I don't know. I'm going to open this up, and as I'm showing the other leathers, I'll put this on. So that's the 0.5 that's there. Let's look at the 1 millimeter is over here. That was this guy. A little bit bigger. Then we've got the 1.5, which is this guy that we used with that slider. And Janice, you mentioned our new beautiful banded agates. Look at how great that looks together. Really nice. And yeah, I love them. And you guys, if you check the blog right now, Drea just wrote a really great blog post, and it's going out in the newsletter, I think, this weekend. Janice and I used these beads, the earrings that I made with these guys, and a little necklace that Janice made with these guys. That's up. So if you check that on the bead table, it's there. But it looks great with this 1.5 mil. And then at the end, of course, we've got our 2 millimeter leather right here, which is awesome. So, I don't know, we've gone kind of crazy with this macrame on the memory wire, but I think it's pretty cool. Any last questions? Janice, do you have any last ones? Eslon was a question. Yeah.
It was answered too.
Oh, okay, great.
Somebody else mentioned it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, you could try this, you guys, with any cord you had, really. As long as it'll hold up on the memory wire. You could also, with the smaller ones, like this side, you remember when I did that boho earring? When I used the small memory wire, you could macrame around this and make a hoop earring. You could macrame around the ring memory wire and make components or earrings out of it. So I think it would look pretty cool. Okay. And so Linda said you'd love to see how to finish it up. Well, Linda, I'll tell you, I would just keep going, and I'll do it on this one. I would just keep going around, Linda, going and going, adding beads, adding more macrame, adding beads, till I got to the very end. And let's pretend I'm at the very end over here. And maybe my bead just ends here. And I'll put a bead there. I want about, for the last loop, I don't know, maybe a little under 1/2 inch, because then all I'm going to do is bring this under with my round nose plier and loop it up that way. Okay. I could add some dangles to that, or we could also glue the ends like I did on Facebook Live on Wednesday. Okay. So you guys, what I want you to do is I want you to be super creative this weekend. And if you make some of these guys, please email so I can share with you, all of you. Julia can put it up on the Connections blog so we can all see the creativity that'll be flowing through you guys. So it looks like there's a few questions. So Gracie, what do we want to hit first and before we?
The sizes of the memory wire. Let's do that one first.
Sure. So the memory wire sizes. Hey, can anybody get me the package, the multi-pack?
And Lynn was wondering what the size leather is on your bracelet. I don't think it's a bangle.
I use this leather here. For my shadows wrap is the 1 millimeter with the regular shadows. Thanks, Bran. The 1 millimeter with the regular shadows is what I did on this one. So our memory wire in the multi-packs, you can see, they come with a bunch of different wires. The ring, which is 7.5 inch diameter. The bracelet in 2, 2 1/4, and 2 1/2. We sell them, the bracelets, separately in 2 and 2 1/2. Or 2 and 2 1/4, sorry. But the 2 1/2 only comes in this multi. The necklace is 3.6, and there's about 10 loops per size in this packet. So it's a great way to start the sampler. Okay.
So I guess Lynn was wondering what this one was, which is actually memory wire, not leather.
Oh, sorry, Lynn. This one, the skinniest one, is the 0.5. Oh, this. These are bugles. Yeah, just bugle beads on here. The smallest bugles. And this was from, if you haven't watched it, go back to the the Facebook Live episode that Janice and I did on memory wire. It was earlier this year. You'll find it on the Facebook Live page. Janice and I, when we first got the memory wire back in, we also played around with memory wire. It was really, really fun. So, and we do also have the oval memory wire, as Janice said. We just sell it separately.
And how many wraps would you make?
Oh gosh, that is up to you. I would say, like this one, I randomly cut it because we were on air. But it looks like I have about 1, 2, it's like 2 3/4. So, I think it just depends on how much stack you want. I would probably do between 3 and 6. I don't know. Depends on what you want. But also, if you just want this single, do a single. You do you. Okay. Works well. All right, you guys. So I guess that's it. I guess we'll call this a day, Gracie. But like I said, you guys, I'll have Grace take some photos of everything, and I'll toss it all in a blog post so you'll have some references on sizes. But you know what? Let me just tell you, this is the rule. You choose the memory wire you like, you choose the beads you like, and you choose the cords you like, and you go to town. That's the rule. How does that sound? Alrighty, any final words on this one, or shall we?
So Tammy asks if you think the feather slider would work here, and I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't grab it.
Yeah, so if you're using like the feather slider that has the space, like it's a slider and then it has a little one catch here and one catch over here, what I would do is I'd probably macrame up to, slide it on, macrame, and then what I might do is, if there's room, depending on how much room there is, I'd either put small beads on the wire and then slide the end through that other little catch, so you've just got beads here on the wire, or you could try and finagle it a little bit and do some macrame underneath the feather. But I bet like small beads, like, I don't know, maybe seed beads in an 11/0 or an 8/0, I bet that would work. Okay.
Okay, a lot of comments on your necklace, so that's the last thing.
Oh, it's the last thing. Well,
I'm zooming in on it.
Okay, this was a piece that I did for a class that I taught a billion years ago that I teach sometimes. And the whole focus for kind of using a centerpiece, and then I made these little chain links. But the back, let me show you the back. And this is a clasp that I should show you guys how to make sometime, because it's not very difficult. You can see I've just used, oh, what a surprise. What's in there? Little shadows. And some freshwater pearl. And then, can you see this closure? This closure is a little loop, or a little tube of wire that I used, probably 24 gauge, that I wrapped around a skinny little mandrel, and I made my own bullion wire, and then I crimped it down below. So it's a nice alternate way of closing off your necklace. And then I just made this little toggle clasp here by hammering some heavy gauge, I don't know, 14 gauge wire, I guess, and making a little toggle and putting it through. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right, well, we could chat about this forever, but we've got to get cracking on getting this stuff up for you. Look for it probably by tomorrow morning. We should have things up for you, so don't look for it too immediately, because we've still got to do some work in progress. But do check out your newsletters this weekend, you guys. We've got some good stuff going on in there, some good links, that project that Janice and I did with the tribal stuff, with these little agates, and that'll do it. So I will see you on Tuesday with Janice from the set of Beads, Baubles, and Jewels. Who knows what special guests we'll have. It's going to be really fun to see who's there. And then on Wednesday, Emily will be here doing some gemstone knotting with Grace. And then we're going to skip an official Free Tip Friday next week, but I'll be popping in and out all weekend from Bead Fest in Tacoma. And if you are coming to Bead Fest next weekend, do stop by my classroom and say hello. I'd love to see you. Or if you see me out on the show floor, don't hesitate to say hi, because I'd love to say hi to you. Alrighty, I guess Free Tip Friday is a wrap. Let's let the weekend begin. Okay, have a creative and fun weekend. I want to see what you macrame, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.